What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Speed to Dominate podcast with me, your host, Coach Harper. And this is the podcast where parents and coaches come to learn how to get their youth athletes faster. We also talk about tips and tricks. We talk about the latest trends, the newest technology, and how the state of sprinting, whether you're running track, playing football, playing basketball, any of those sports, how this stuff is actually going to affect your child and your youth athletes, if you're a coach, as you go forward in time. All right, so today is going to be a good one today because we're going to be talking about why virtual speed training is now more powerful than in-person training. Now, I know I'm going to lose a lot of people here, right? I want y'all to say welcome to my TikTok family over here. We got YouTube over here. We got Instagram. We got all of the things going at one time today. Anyway, I know I get a lot of backlash from this because I get parents all the time coming to me and saying, hey, look, I want you to coach my kid, because they see me on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at the Coach Harper. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram. So side note, okay. Anyway, I get a lot of parents that come to me and they're like, I want you to coach my kid, but you are all the way in Georgia. You're all the way in Georgia, and I live in New York, or I might live in California, or I might live in, the UK or something like that. I want you to coach my kid, but it's not possible. But guys, I'm telling you, nowadays, with the technology that we have right now, you've got Zoom, you've got Microsoft Teams, we have AI, we have all of these different tech systems, which I'm going to talk to you about today. That is there for us to be able to use, and we can train now in a totally different way. And so we're going to talk about that and why those things. Why it's even better for you to even go virtual than it is for you to be in person. All right. One thing is cost. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. Like maybe probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe almost a month ago, I was introduced to this company. So I was basically just sitting at home, doing what I do every day, and I got a message on my Instagram. Came across my Instagram, and I opened up my Instagram, and on my Instagram there was a message from this company. All right, this company called FirePod. All right, so I typically get these messages for people to do collaborations with me, every once in a while, and sometimes I have to vet them. Okay, I have to vet these people to make sure that they're good people or they're not. And sometimes I get scams in the text messages all the time, or in the direct messages all the time. So this one I was just checking out to see if it was legit. So I'm checking it out, and I noticed that it's actually legit. And the reason why I knew that is because the message wasn't really long. It wasn't like, "Hey, dear sir," or something, starting out like that. It was just, the message was like, "Hey, coach, I got this technology. It's pretty cool. I want to see if you want to check it out, and let's talk about a partnership." So I said, okay, this seems like more human, like somebody actually took the time to do this, even though it was a short message there. I was like, okay, cool. So let me just check this out. And so I actually ended up talking to FirePod and getting on the phone with a rep, and the rep was basically telling me about this technology that he has, where I could literally get like 50 points of data, right? 50 or more points of data for any kid that I have. And I said, that sounds cool. And he's like, basically they would just wear this vest that have this pod in the back of it, and they would use this to do sessions, whatever sessions you want, and you can time them. You'll know how fast they're going between the first 10 yards, the first 20 yards, the first 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, anything like that. And I said, that's really cool. And then the big question for me was, because I get a lot of people, they send me a direct message. They want me to train their kids, but they're like, you're not in my area. So that's bad. So they're sad. And I'm like, well, I do have virtual training. And they're like, all right. So I asked him, what's the biggest question that I could ask him and that can really give me an answer that would really change the game. I said, could I be anywhere, or could the athlete be anywhere in the world and they still use this? And he says yes. In fact, you don't even have to be sitting with them. They can use it and you'll get the information right back on your data right here on your computer or through our website. And I said, oh, this changes the game. All right. So I was like, if I could do that, I could literally be sitting, I could be anywhere and I could still train your kid and still get the data that I need and still be able to create the workout plans and all the things that I need to help them reach their goal. All right. So long story short, and I use this with my wife because my wife is like, you talk too long and you talk in parentheses and all this other different type of stuff. So I say long story short, and then I say short story shorter because she's like, okay, you talk way too long, right? So long story short, short story shorter. I end up getting into a partnership with this group, and I used it. I'm already using it with a client, and we have gotten results in literally 5 days. Okay, we've seen this kid get faster in literally 5 days. Why? Because we were able to pinpoint where the problems were, and we were able to go to the next session, and we were able to work on those things, and boom, 5 days he actually got faster. So there's 4 reasons. Okay, there's 4 reasons why now you can go out and we can do virtual speed training and it'd be even more powerful than being in person. All right. So here's why that is. Okay. So there's 4 reasons. All right. Number 1 is consistency and access anywhere. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are on vacation, but you still want to get your youth athletes some speed training, right? You're on vacation. You still want to get your youth athletes some speed training, and it was their day. They've got whatever coming up when they get back home. All right, you're on vacation. Hey, look, as long as you got a field, and this is what I do, as long as you got a field, you don't even have to have a field. You just need to have an open space, 10, 15, 20 yards, maybe 30, 40, 50 yards, something like that, depending on what we're doing. As long as you got a space, 50 yards, then you can literally work out. You can literally work out. I can tell you exactly what to do, and I can access your data from anywhere using this system. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to get one of the FirePod people up on this podcast, and we're going to talk about this, and it's going to be even further just explain to you how this stuff it works. Okay. So now most in-person sessions, guys, they depend on schedules. They depend on weather. They depend on travel, all that stuff. Okay. And what happens is that you start working with a trainer in person. And I was just literally just talking to a lady yesterday on the phone because she was looking at the virtual program, and she was saying, "Oh, it sounds cool. I want to try this out." And I asked her kind of like, what are the problems that you're having right now? And what she said to me was her daughter, she actually gets training from a guy right now, but it's usually with 4 or 5 or 6 other kids. And she says he's doing some of the drills and she's getting some work in that's pretty good, but she feels like it's a glorified practice, right? It's like literally like a glorified practice, and she's not getting the one-to-one help that she actually needs. And so that's typically what trainers are doing now because of the business models that are out right now. Like I'm a coach, but I'm also a business owner. And so a lot of the business models out right now are telling us, hey, do group coaching, because when you do group coaching, you can coach more kids, you make more money. And, of course you need to make money to live and be able to pay your bills and all that stuff. So that's how they sell it to them. But what happens when they do that, guys, is you get this glorified practice. And when you get this glorified practice, the thing about it is it's still practice. And what I tell parents all the time is practice is not training. And most parents, they think practice is training. They think they take their kid to practice, they're getting training. Coaches feel the same way. Hey, come to practice, we're going to sharpen your skills. That's not what's happening. I promise you, a lot of kids they want to play AAU basketball. And they go out there, and it's really just a glorified practice. They're thinking, oh, my kid is going to get better because they're continuing to play basketball throughout the season, right? But what's really happening is you're paying for your kid to practice and playing some extra games. That's all you're doing. Training is when you're looking at what the kid is weak in, and we're starting to work on the weaknesses that they're having so that they get stronger in areas where they are presently weak or they presently struggle with, right? So we can't look at these practices, right? We can't look at these training sessions with these trainers when they got 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 other kids out there. How can they get the development that they need to get if they're doing the same thing Johnny's doing? Now, Johnny might be a more elite athlete or a less elite athlete, and now I'm doing the same thing as Johnny's doing. Or even if they do break them up, which I don't see a lot of coaches doing, breaking them up into groups and say, okay, elite group go over here, this group go over here. Yes, iron does sharpen iron. I get that, okay? Iron does sharpen iron, but here's the thing. When a kid has a weakness, a specific weakness, they literally need that attention. And so what you get with one-to-one virtual is you get that one-to-one on person, because it's not impossible to do a group in a virtual setting, but typically to get the best results so you can see everybody is to do it one-to-one. So you literally get that one-to-one interaction when you go virtual versus being in person. So that's one of the biggest things. So that's number one, consistency, and you get access anywhere, okay? We're consistent, all right? With virtual and AI training plans, you're all like Coach Harper is always accessible, okay? So I've got Coach Harper AI, as you guys know, which is a AI bot that is trained to answer questions just like I would answer questions. So I have that available. That's coming out on September 1st. So please join the wait list for that, guys. I'll put the wait list link down in the description for you guys to jump on that. All right. I said there was 4 reasons why virtual training is more powerful than in-person training. So we're going to number 2, personalized and data-driven coaching. Okay, I already talked about that a little bit here, or a lot of it, I should say. Which they get personalized and data-driven coaching. All right, so with this FirePod, and I'm working with a kid right now who's using this FirePod. It's a vest, okay? It's a vest with the pod in it, and it records every workout session, all right? So if we're doing speed that day, I get to see how fast the kid is running. And literally, we have been working with this thing for about 5 days. I say 5 days because it's been 5 days since we've actually because we're literally in the beginning stages. The kid ran his test, his speed test. So I always start with an evaluation and then a speed test. So I did the evaluation, we did the speed test, and literally we worked out once after that speed test, and then that was between 5 days because we worked out one day with like Thursday, and then we had to wait the whole weekend to get back to it. So about 5 days, and this kid literally in his first 10 yards went faster in his first 10 yards than he did when he was actually doing his speed test. His fastest run in his speed test was his first 10 meters or first 10 yards in that speed test that he did was slower than the ones that he did in our actual session where he actually did the workouts, and then did at the end we do strides. We do what I call them strides, but we call them so they're actually doing 10 actual strides, and we do them at 50%, and then we do them at 75%, and then we do them at 90%. So his 90%, his first 10 yards in his form runs, strides, was at 90% was faster than his one when he actually did his training. All right, and it's because we had been working on the way that he runs, and the real reason why we're able to see that is because, one, I was able to just look at him and see it, and then two, the data matched. We're able to see his line going up and down, and I said, okay, this literally is because you're not consistent with your stride. You're not consistent with your form, so you're slowing down. And the other thing is you're looking up, you're looking down, you're looking up, you're looking down. And so every time you do that, that's going to slow you down. All right. And then, of course, your foot placement and things like that. So those are things I was able to see. The data really showed me, confirmed what I already knew. All right. And so because we have this thing, all right, because we have this thing, we have this data that I can access, and you can be anywhere in the world. You can be anywhere in the world, and I can access this data from this vest that the kid is wearing, and I can tweak your plan. I can literally tweak their plan real time, and we can start working on the things that we know we need to work on. So we're able to do that, and we're able to catch the things that we need to catch to help boost their potential, right there in real time. So that's something that you could get in a personalized training session, where an in-person training session, if again you're not in a session where you have all of these kids at one time. Because again, like I said, most trainings, most parents think that, hey, if I'm taking my kid to a trainer, even if there's 6 or 7 kids out there at the same time, that they're still getting some help. All right. Now they are getting a little bit of help because they are working. As in any time that you're doing work, you're gonna start seeing some improvement unless you're practicing the incorrect things, and that's where the problem comes in. We don't know if they're practicing incorrect things because if the coach's attention is over here and they're not on your kid finishes the drill, they said, and what we can do is, all we can do is say, hey, did you do the drill? Yeah, I did it. Okay, cool. All right, let's get to the next thing. Well, we didn't even see them if they did it right or wrong. All right. So when we're in a one-to-one virtual setting, we have no option but to look and pay attention to every single thing that the person is doing, so we can tweak every single thing. And then with the data, I can see in real time that can help me even tweak what's going on even quicker. All right. So those are the first 2 things. 4 reasons why virtual is better than in-person. 1, consistency and access anywhere. Number 2, personalized data and personalized and data-driven coaching. I'm sorry. All right. And then number 3, feedback and progress. Okay. Feedback and progress is immediate. All right. Now, if you're in a setting where you got a coach with 5 or 6 other kids at one time, a group setting, even if they do get the information from the vest, okay, what's going to happen is they're going to go back, and they're going to have to go back to their desk and then look at the data. They can pull it up on their phone and things like that too. But to go over 5 or 6 or 7 kids' data and really dissect it, it becomes one of those things. Literally yesterday I was sitting, let me tell you guys, literally yesterday I was sitting at my desk. I was working with my athlete, and I was reading his data at the same time, right? And after our session, I was able to pinpoint why he was running faster this time as opposed to his running last time, because I could see the data points, and I can say, and I just could see the data points, and I could understand where he was by what I was seeing. I said, yo, that directly correlates with the data. And so I know with 100% certainty that this is where we need to do to fix X, Y, or Z. And that's why when we were able to do it the first time, we came back into the second session and we started working on it. He looked a lot better. I'm talking about a whole lot better, guys. And as a result, we were able to see his speed, even when he wasn't even trying, he is able to get faster. And that's what I tell you guys all the time. your kids you don't necessarily, a lot of people think that when you try to get your kids faster, it's going to take months and months and months. And it actually doesn't. You can literally change speed in, 1 or 2 sessions within the first 5 days, 5 to 7 days, just by simply teaching them how to run properly. And once they learn how to run properly, they're going to stop the leakage of energy. Okay. They're leaking energy. They're using up too much energy. And also they're not covering the ground that they could be covering if they were running properly. So once they start running properly, they start covering more ground. It actually becomes easier to go faster. Here's the paradox, though. Here's the paradox. Most people think in order to run faster, you have to squeeze and go and try with all your might, right? But the beautiful thing about this, and the way that God designed this is that, and it's a beautiful life lesson as well. Okay. And I always tell my kids this, is that when you want to go faster, you actually have to relax. You actually have to try less, right? You can't try to dig in. All right. If you want to go faster, you actually have to relax. All right. That allows your muscles to elongate and then contract, and then elongate and contract. If we stay tight the whole time, we can't do this. All right. We stay tight. We do shorter steps, take us longer, take us more. It's more and more and more energy. All right. So we don't want to leak energy doing inefficient movements or like strangling our body to death, right? To try to get this stuff done. All right. So we don't want to do that. So the paradox is you got to relax to go faster. And so in doing that, this kid that I'm working with, he actually used less effort and he was able to go faster with less effort, right? Because we have the data, because I've been coaching for 16 years and I can see where your data leakage is without even using that. But having the data is a huge, huge, huge advantage. And in 5 days, guys, we was able to get them a step faster. All right. So the feedback from the feedback that you guys get, the feedback that I get from the technology, the vest and the pod is unmatched. Okay. It is unmatched. And it's something that you definitely want to take a look at. Now, listen, I actually do 1-to-1 virtual speed training. Okay. As I'm telling you, I'm working with one kid right now who has it. I have another group of kids that I'm working with, and they're not using the pod right now, but they're considering getting the pod because they've seen how it worked for the first kid. And so I'd encourage you guys, if you're looking for that, I do have a 1-to-1 virtual speed training. I call it the 1-to-1 virtual speed lab. We use this technology in it. Okay. The vest and the pod, I'm able to get their information right then and there. And it's an amazing thing that you guys can use that I can use to help you get them faster. Like, guys, literally in 5 days, we've gotten this kid a step faster, which is a huge win for him, because he's a kid who has been ridiculed about his speed, because he was not as fast as his teammates. Now he's building confidence. His mom is saying, like, hey, he's waking up and he's doing his stuff. He's asking me when can he go outside to do his stuff. He's really into it. He's changing his diet. He's building his confidence. He's out there and he's starting to really love, like, going to practice and showing off what he can do now, because he's starting. And we've only done 3 sessions. We've done 4 because we had to do the speed test because we got the vest a little bit late. So we did the speed test. So that's cool. So if you guys are interested, you can send me a direct message on my Instagram at the Coach Harper. Direct message the word train, TRAIN. Direct message the word train to me in my direct messages on Instagram, at the Coach Harper. There's a link down in the description for that too. You can just click on the link. It'll take you right to my page. Send me a direct message that said the word train. That I'll send you over the application, the link for the application. You do the application. I don't work with every single person, so they have to qualify. But we only have 2 spots available right now. So if you're looking for that, I would advise you to go ahead and just tap that in there. Now, this is for the serious athlete, the athlete that knows that the thing that's keeping them from going from good to great is speed. That bridge from good to great is literally speed. So if your kid is like, they know that, hey, I'm going to play baseball and I'm going to be the best baseball player ever. I'm going to play football and I want to go pro and I want to be in, I want to be play Division I college and I want to go pro in football. It's for that athlete. It's that athlete who is, wake up on their own and they go outside on their own and they run their own drills, or they're asking you for training and you've already paid for them to go to some type of training. Like, this is for the serious athlete. Okay. This is for the serious athlete, who knows that they're going to play there, who knows that they want to play in college, who knows they probably want to play pro. The difference between them being good and great is going to be their speed. All right. And so that's why we want to treat this as our baby. And so that's why I do 1-to-1 virtual speed training. I call it the 1-to-1 virtual speed lab. You can go ahead and you can jump into that. You can send me a direct message with the word train to my Instagram at the Coach Harper. And I will definitely send you over the link for the application. Get them into this, guys. I'm telling you, this is great. All right. And then number 4, the 4th reason why virtual speed training is better than in person is because parent empowerment. That's what I like to say. Number 4 is parent empowerment. Now, why does this matter? This matters because parents want to support, but they always don't know what's right. And I talk about this in my master class all the time, is that when you're a parent, you don't want to be the coach. Okay. All right. A lot of parents feel like, oh man, I want to do this, but I'm not a coach. Okay. I don't know how to coach these kids. And even if you did give me a program, I would tell them, hey, go do it, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So I can't even tell if they're doing it right or wrong. So that's why you leave into the hands of a professional, because 1, you can overtrain the kids if you don't know what you're doing. Number 2, you can get them injured if you don't know what you're doing, and you can burn them out. All right. You could be doing stuff because there's a time to sprint. There's a time to relax. Okay. There's a time to rest, and we have to be strategic with that. And if we don't know when to rest and when to sprint, it will end up hurting your kid in the long run. So you don't want to be the coach if you don't know what you're doing. All right. Okay. So again, overtraining, burnout, injuries, all those things. Okay. So virtual speed training, virtual training is a very widely overlooked tool. All right. Because a lot of parents, again, even coaches, okay, if you're a coach and you're doing some type of training, I would advise you to start doing some 1-to-1 virtual training. Why? Because you have so much control. You have you're 1-to-1 with the kids, and you're able to pinpoint their problems quicker, so we can get them fixed quicker, so that we can actually get them out there and dominating quicker. Okay, the name of the game is speed. Speed, as in physical speed, and speed to the market, meaning we've got to be able to get them faster, sooner, so they can get out there and dominate in game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of games 7, 8, or 9, or even the next year. Okay, because time is of the essence. If your kid is 13 years old, 12, 13 years old, get ready to go into high school, like literally they should have been started training a year ago. All right. They should have been started training at 11 and 12 or because by the time they're 11 and 12, we know, hey, this kid has a future. If they're good, If your kid is already good, you already know, hey, this kid has a future. I need to invest in this kid right now so his future or her future is even brighter, and they get to the place where they're trying to go. All right, so those are the 4 things. Those are the reasons why, you guys, virtual training is even more powerful than in-person training. Like, get that out of your head. Like, I think, again, I get it all the time. I think they would benefit more if there was somebody in person doing this. They'll benefit more. Like, I've had the parent that I'm working with now, that was one of the things that she said. I think he would just benefit more if he had a one-to-one person in training, in-person trainer. And she's singing a different song now because she's seeing the results that her son is getting, and she's loving it and he's loving it, and she's like, this is good. I think this is good. I think this is good. So I want to employ you. If you're thinking about training your kids, think heavily on a one-to-one virtual training program where you're going to get one-to-one training sessions. All right, one-to-one training sessions. Okay. Again, I do this. If you're interested in that, you can go down to the description, click on that link to Instagram. That's going to my Instagram at the Coach Harper. DM me the word train, 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 and I will definitely get your the application to join that program. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you're just in a spot right now where you got a younger kid, or if you're a coach and you got younger kids and you're trying to figure out something that you can do with them, I have a program called Speed to Dominate. It's a 4-week youth speed program. In that program, you're going to get 21 speed drill videos, 4 weeks of speed workouts, a speed tracker, and a nutrition guide. You're going to get that sent directly to your email. You can download it right away. It's only $10, so you can grab that down there. It's at speedtodominate.com. And if you're a coach and your kids are always, let's say you're a track coach, your kids are always dying in that last 50 to 100 meters, I've got something for you as well. It's called the Sprinters Finishers Formula. You can get it at champsprinter.com, or go down to the description and tap the link there at champsprinter.com. We all know those kids. They are dying out in the last 100 meters, down out in the last 50 meters or whatever. This is the thing that fixes that. Over 16 years of doing this, I found the secret formula to keep them from doing that, and how you can do that very quickly. It doesn't take a long time, okay? But all of the workouts are planned out for you. There is all the things in there, is all the goodies. So check that out at champsprinter.com. So a couple of ways to work with me: speedtodominate.com, $10. 30-day, 4-week speed youth speed program. Champ Sprinter for those coaches, those track coaches who got kids who are dying out in the last 50 to 100 meters. And if you're a parent and you're just saying, my kid is good, but they're not elite yet, and their coaches, either their coaches telling me they need to get faster, or I see that, hey, if they were just a little bit faster, they would be even better. Okay, if they're playing baseball and they're like, hey, if my kid was a little bit faster, they would get on bases more. All right. If your kid is playing football, whatever sport that they're playing, if you can see, or someone has told you, hey, your kid just needs to be a little bit faster, or if you can see that they have great potential, hey, this kid is good, this kid is dominating the sport already, but if they were a little bit faster, if they were just faster, then they would be a total beast, and I know we've got a scholarship coming for them. I know they're going to go pro. Then that program is for you. This is for the serious athlete. This is not for the 6, 7, and 8-year-old kid who's just starting to get. They're just bigger than all the other kids, and they're just dominating because they're bigger. This is for puberty has hit. Everybody's getting the same size. My kid is still dominating, right? This is for the serious athlete, for somebody who and a parent who knows, I'm going to invest in this kid's future because I see that they have a future. And if I invest now, I know they're going to do amazing things. Okay. That gap between being good and elite is speed. You guys need it. All right. So that's all for me today, guys. Check out all my links down in the description. Hit the like button, share, do all the things that you need to do on YouTube that everybody always says: like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, do all of the things. And I will talk to you guys later. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next week. All right.